a metal cage locked around her head so she couldn't speak, a woman sealed inside a wall and left there, a test where floating meant guilty and sinking meant innocent. History didn't just punish women, it engineered punishment specifically for them. And it made them watch. These weren't designed to kill quickly, they were designed to shame, publicly, in front of everyone a woman knew. Built so that her suffering became a show, and so the crowd watching could feel righteous the whole time. We're counting down from bad to unthinkable. And the last one isn't a device at all. It's worse. Number 8. The Scold's Bridle. In 16th and 17th century Britain, a woman who talked too much, argued, or nagged could be punished for it. The crime was, essentially, being outspoken while female. The punishment was an iron cage that locked around her entire head. A metal plate, sometimes studded with a spike, was forced into her mouth and pressed down on her tongue. If she tried to speak, it cut her. But it didn't stop there. Being silenced was only half of it. She was led through the town on a chain, like an animal, so every neighbor could see exactly what happened to a woman who spoke out of turn. It had a nickname, the Branks, and towns kept them on hand for centuries. Some still sit in museums today, which means people maintained them and used them again and again. Number 7. The Ducking Stool. If the bridle didn't teach the lesson, the town had a backup, and this one drew a crowd. A woman accused of being a scold, a gossip, or a troublemaker was strapped into a wooden chair, bolted to the end of a long wooden beam set up over a river or pond. Then they lowered her, under the water, held her there, pulled her up, gasping, and did it again, as many times as the crowd wanted, because that was the entertainment. And here's the grim part. Sometimes it went wrong, and a woman drowned. That wasn't treated as a tragedy. It was treated as the risk of a good show. A woman could be killed for the crime of talking, while the town treated it as a day out. Number 6. The stocks and public shaming. This one sounds almost harmless until you understand what it really was. A woman locked into wooden stocks in the town square wasn't just stuck there. She was handed over to the crowd. For hours, sometimes longer, people threw rotten food, mud, and waste. They spat on her. They mocked her by name. The wood wasn't the punishment. The punishment was every person she had ever known being given permission to treat her as less than human. And when it was over, she didn't get to leave town. She had to go home and keep living among the exact same people who had just done that to her. The shame was designed to follow her for life. Number 5. Branding and mutilation. For many accused women, the sentence wasn't meant to end. It was meant to be worn forever. A brand burned into the skin. A mark deliberately cut into the face or hand. Something permanent and visible that announced the supposed crime to every stranger for the rest of her life. A woman accused of adultery, theft, or dishonor could be marked so that she would never again be seen as just a person. First, everyone would see the accusation. The physical pain faded in weeks. The real point was everything that came after. A lifetime of being judged before she ever said a word. Quick pause. If you've made it this far without clicking away, this channel is brand new, and subscribing genuinely helps it survive more than you'd think. That's the whole ask. Now it gets darker. Number 4. Stoning. Recorded across many cultures and many centuries, stoning was built around one chilling piece of design: shared guilt. There's no single executioner. The entire crowd throws, which means afterward, no one person has to feel responsible. Everyone did it, so nobody did. It was also deliberately slow. In many accounts, the stones were chosen to be large enough to injure, but small enough that death wouldn't come fast. And it was used overwhelmingly against women. most often for accusations of adultery. Accusations that frequently needed almost no proof and that a woman had almost no way to disprove. An entire community could take a life together, and every single person could walk home that night telling themselves they weren't really the one who did it. Number 3. Burning at the stake. This is the image everyone knows. Almost nobody knows why it was specifically chosen. For accused witches and heretics, fire wasn't random. It was believed to purify the sinner and to leave nothing behind. No body, no grave, no trace. Total erasure. And it was public. Deliberately. Crowds gathered in the town square. It was treated, horrifyingly, as a community event. But it didn't stop there. The witch trials weren't a handful of rare tragedies. Across Europe, over roughly 3 centuries, tens of thousands of people were executed, and the overwhelming majority were women. Often poor, often old, often widowed, often simply inconvenient to someone with power. The genius of the accusation was that it was almost impossible to disprove. How do you prove you're not a witch? You can't. And that was exactly the point. Number 2, immurement, being walled in alive. Some punishments were designed so that no executioner ever had to lift a hand or watch anyone die. A woman would be sealed into a tiny space, inside a thick wall, a sealed chamber, a tomb, with no way out. Sometimes a small gap was left for a final piece of bread or cup of water. Often, there was nothing at all. Then it was bricked over, and everyone simply walked away. No blade, no fire, no screams anyone was forced to witness. Just stone and silence and time doing the work. It appears in accounts across cultures as punishment for broken vows, for supposed dishonor, for women who had shamed a powerful family. The remains of one such woman were even found centuries later, walled into the ruins of an old abbey. It was a way to erase a person completely, while letting everyone involved keep their hands perfectly clean. They didn't kill her, they told themselves. They just closed a wall. Number 1, the trial. You've been waiting for the worst device, a bigger machine, a crueler tool. That's the trick. There isn't one. The worst punishment ever built for women wasn't an object at all. It was the system that decided, before she ever spoke, that she was guilty. Take the swimming test. They would bind an accused woman and lower her into the water on a rope. If she floated, the water was said to be rejecting her. She was a witch, and she would be executed. If she sank, she was innocent, and they were supposed to pull her back up by the rope. Supposed to. The rope didn't always work in time. And here's the darker truth underneath it. Being condemned often didn't mean you'd really done anything. It meant your own neighbors disliked you enough to want you gone, and the trial simply gave them permission. There were interrogations engineered so that no answer could save you. Deny it, and you were lying. Confess under pressure, and you'd proven it. Say nothing, and that was guilt too. The cruelty was never one execution. It was an entire society organizing itself to accuse, condemn, and erase women, and to feel righteous the whole time it did so. And here's the part that should sit with you. The people running these trials weren't villains in a story. They were judges, priests, neighbors, husbands, ordinary people. They signed the orders, watched the punishments, and then went home and had a completely normal evening with their families. Today, these devices sit behind glass in museums. We walk past them and think, thank God we're nothing like that. Thank God that world is gone. But not one of these things was built by monsters. Every single one was built and used by ordinary people who were absolutely certain they were doing the right thing. That's the part actually worth remembering, because that part never went in a museum.